Willie O'Dea TD for Limerick. For Fianna Fáil, he's a TD for Limerick. He's a senior man down there. He hasn't missed a funeral since he was 21, anywhere in Limerick or surrounding counties. He was a minister for defence or something at one stage. And in all fairness, he should have been more. Any event, Fianna Fáil has the woke Micheál Martin, instead of having the only decent politician in the party, apart maybe, I'm not to say he's not decent, but the only one is John McGuinness, and he'll never get anywhere because he stood up for his principles in the case of Sergeant Maurice McCabe, right or wrong. He done the decent thing, and that's him black marked. If he were in the civil service, the very same. If he was in the Gardaí or the army, the very same. Okay, now he has a moustache. Anyway, the bold Willie. Now, Willie O'Dea voted for the hate speech. He voted for the hate speech bill. And in that bill, there's no definition of hate. It's incitement. And a lot of it's left up to a judge. So the citizen doesn't know what a judge will do. If the guards go to charge him, it's the risk. It's the look at the draw and what the judge thinks. The law is not distinct. The other thing about it is there's provision for a warrant to go in and search people's houses. Wouldn't you think that the guards had something better to do? But don't you know that in the guards there are woke guards that will push this with zealous, and they'll get promoted and everything else until we kick the asses of Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, Labour, people before puberty, and Sinn Féin, all woke. Anyway, Willie voted for the hate speech bill. He says he didn't know what it was. He thought it was going to bring down the price of eggs or change the dozen from 12 to 14 or something. The hate speech was rushed through the Dáil. I certainly didn't pay attention. But what's he paid for? Oh, what's his job? I certainly didn't pay attention to it. But when I read it, I was absolutely horrified. Well, so was I. That makes two of us, Willie. I'd say John McGuinness is too. I can't speak for him, of course. Fianna Fáil TD Willie O'Dea wasn't aware that what was in the hate speech bill he voted for. I mean, how much was spent on the schools? I'm sure he went to a school similar to me to give you a few whacks of a stick across the ear and on the arms, and they hit the girls on the legs under the skirts for not knowing Gaelic, English, Irish, and arithmetic. But in fairness, even though it was walloped into me, I didn't take a lot of effort to teach me. I didn't need to be walloped to learn. But I can read fairly good. The only thing that retards me a bit with my spelling is that I was taught a lot of Irish. I don't have a problem. I still get enough to do what I want. I know the difference between a €10 note and a 20. But anyway, yeah, he was horrified. And he now regrets supporting it. Well, I suppose it's better late than never, but the hard fact is if he hadn't supported that bill, he'd have got a dressing down from his beloved leader. He loves Micheál Martin. I love you. He gets down like this. Oh, Micheál, oh, Micheál, oh, Micheál, my leader. I love you, I love you, I love you. And he go like this. They love Micheál. They love him. They love him. Now, so the thing about it is, now that I got that bit out of the way, he voted for it. Now, if he had to vote against it, he'd have got a lambasting from Micheál Martin, because the two TDs, one of them has been the name of Thomas, surname, got the same, and they left the party over the woke stuff. So Micheál Martin is the most woke politician in Europe. He was sitting up at the European Parliament talking about bringing in all of Africa into Ireland and Europe, and wants them distributed all around Europe. And the Swedish foreign minister told him, are you aware that there's 500 million of these people wanting to come? And he says, don't you talk to me. I want this and I want this. He looked at him with disgust. This is the fella that's the second highest person in Ireland. Anyway, I suppose, I don't know, Willie, we'll just see. That's in the grip anyway. He couldn't possibly vote against it, but why didn't he make a bit of a kick up about it? Or why didn't he ask questions? Or why didn't he get on to me? And we wouldn't find drilling holes through it, and he could have asked a question. Where were the independents? Did they not ask a question? I'd have got them 40 questions to ask. Now, the thing about it is, there's another article here in breakingnews.ie, another news medium. I wish them all well. I wish them all well. Government must stop playing to the woke gallery, says OD. So now I think the referendum give them a kick up the backside. I think people realise there is a danger for these parties that the public will turn against them. That's why I put in so much effort into making sure we have a viable alternative with no one-man bands or anything else. Anyway, Limerick Fianna Fáil TD Willie O'Dea has broken ranks with his party leadership over his support of proposed hate speech legislation, describing it as woke and calling for it to be abandoned. Now, that is a good service to Ireland, Mr. O'Dea, I have to say, because we all know there is a thing called woke. It's a destructive influence type of a thing that has come in to replace Catholicism and the various Protestant denominations and the Christian churches, and even the Jewish and all that. This is a deliberate replacement for it, the woke agenda, and it includes the green agenda. But here we have Willie O'Dea saying this. Now, you have to hand it to me. I've been on about this an awful long time when I was a one-man band, and now everyone's beginning to see what I was talking about. There's no way I'd kick up a racket over a bit of an old stroke being pulled here and there by Fianna Fáil or anybody else. We never, my family, I don't think ever got to know them, but at the same time we were always, my family were Fianna Fáil supporters. That was that. My father told me he'd disown me if I ever voted for anyone else. He said, I'll get the spade to you. And I'd go home and tell him about Fine Gael tomorrow when I was young, like. And he'd get take, you know, I'd have to tell him, only joking, yeah. But anyway, that's the thing. And several people around here, they'd hit the counter to get a few bottles of stout, you know. But my father worked in a factory doing the lights on lorries, and he got crushed when the lorry came down on him and severely injured him. And he was off work for a year, and he looked for a small amount of compensation, about £2,000, and he went to a solicitor and he got it, and he genuinely needed it. He suffered a lot, and they sacked him. And that was a Fine Gael government had that law there. Fianna Fáil changed that law in 1966, the Workmen's Compensation Act, and changed it. And it's no wonder they saw Fianna Fáil as a better party, and it was a better party. The other crowd were Fine Gael were snobs. I mean, they represented the snobs and the big fella. I don't know. I don't think Collins would have had it that way, but that's the way it was. He was killed and that was that. Anyway, so now, Willie O'Dea broke ranks with party leadership over support for proposed hate speech legislation, describing it as woke and calling for it to be abandoned. I hope they don't. I hope they don't, because into jail I'm going. I want to get into that prison, and I'm not going to settle till I'll hate speech something. I'll say something. I'll either condemn. You see, if you speak against a race, and there's two races I have a problem with. One is the Germans, although not them all, but enough of them. I have issues with them. And the other is the Irish that votes for Fianna Fáil or Fine Gael this last few years. I mean, we have people living in our country who are traitors. And I don't actually hate people as such. I tell you, I intensely dislike them, and I would confront them on the street. And into jail I want to go. And that's it. And bring me up. I want 2 bananas, 2 oranges, and if you can put a wee drop of whiskey, wee drop of Powers, you know, the good pot still whiskey, just a wee drop, just slip it into me. Anyway, that's that. Into jail. We're all going in, every one of us. Anyway, the next thing is, he says the former Minister for Defence also described the Green Party and non-governmental organisations as being out of touch with the public. Yeah, well, he's right in that, you know, but this is where we can capitalise. My policy for the Greens and Enda Kenny and these people, we will cut their pensions. We'll bring in a constitutional referendum and we'll pull half the pension of Enda Kenny and Cabbage Head Ryan. Hit them. And Richard Bruton and Micheál Martin, live with just enough to live on. And if we can't do it we'll bring in a thing called the Crisis Asset Criminal. What's the Guards? What is Criminal Assets Bureau? We won't call it criminal. Crisis Asset Recovery Bureau. CARB. Crisis Asset Recovery Bureau. And we'll clean them out. Put them to the trouble of hiring big fancy lawyers. That's what we do with them. Anyway, out of touch. Fianna Fáil needs to get back to basics and abandon the hate speech bill. Don't go back to basics at all. Stay woke. By Jesus, we'll fucking straighten you. I tell you, down in Limerick there we have Michael Leahy there, a great man with the National Party, and I'm sure that great man with the Irish Freedom Party, Michael Leahy. But I'm sure the National Party, I was going to say that, will have someone good as well. I'm sure even the Independent Ireland, sure they'll feel somebody. That'll be for the Europe, so we'll see how we do. So you must vote no in the referendum on the patents, and you must vote for non-government parties. The Irish Freedom Party, if you want, the National Party, and indeed the Independence Ireland. Don't vote for these people. Now, at least Willie has the courage to say that. What Willie should now do is say he wants John McGuinness to be the leader of the party. That'd be bad for me because they'd get votes. And also he should abandon it and join the Irish Freedom Party. He should resign out of Fianna Fáil and join the Irish Freedom Party, or if he wants to join the National Party or the Independent Ireland. Any of them is good. Any of them is good. We'll welcome him in. I'd say he doesn't drink. I'd say he'd be too mean to buy it. I'd say he'd be too mean to buy a half one. I don't know. I might be wrong on that. Focus on housing, health and law and order, and stop playing to the woke gallery. Stop listening to the people. Start listening to the people and stop talking down to them, and stop listening to the out-of-touch Greens, NGOs, referendum 2024. O'Dea posted on X, former Twitter, on Monday. But he can do more than I do. I'm banned of X. I'm banned of X for criticising Greta Thunberg. Mr. O'Dea was expected to join his party leader, Taoiseach Michael Martin, at Media Opportunity in Limerick on Monday, later in the evening, ahead of the party selection convention next week for the directly elected mayor of Limerick. I don't know how that will go now. Would it really go himself? He's a likeable fella, I have to say. I mean, he is a likeable fella. I warmed to him easy. You know, I'm giving him stick here, but he's just the way he did it. The government had hoped to have incitement to hate legislation on the statute books by late last year, but the legislation was faced delays. I have to compliment Senator Aaron. I have to appeal to Senator Aaron. You're holding it up there. There are several questions. If any of you want to get on to me, I'll find several questions to send it back to the Dáil and get them to answer. Because in the referenda, Roderick O'Gorman was asked to explain the amendments to the referendum, to the Constitution on the family, and he said, we'll just leave it at the courts. He hadn't a monkey's notion what the thing was going to do, and he expected the judges to do it. I wonder, did I help that a wee bit with my videos? I'd love to know, did I? I'd love to think I did. Anyway, the thing about it is, the government had hoped to have it on the books, and that'd mean we'd all be in jail right now, or we'd be on the way to jail. It'd be probably in May. Now, I'll have to try and organise my hate speech crime I want it in September, October, November. Between I do all the work on the farm and the crops, and I put in the cattle. So I'll be trying to organise that. And I don't care where, Loughlin House or Limerick Prison. Willie could come in to see me. I don't think I should be sent to Wheatsfield. That's where all the junkie dubs is. They'd be calling me Culchie. I'd be in the danger up there. You'd want galvanised drawers on you up there, I tell you. The new bill aims to repeal the prohibition of any incitement to hate rights. The government says the original act is not fit for purpose. There is a law there about incitement to hatred. It's on the statute books. This one is just that they can categorise people, and they can categorise politicians, and they have Mauritius, one of the great lovely holiday resorts. Now, anyone that comes from there is a protected species. Same as you'd protect a wild bird or a wild animal or something. And this is what they're doing. They're going to jail us because they know we don't want the migrants in here, and they're going to use the law to get their way. Those opposed to this legislation have expressed fears it goes too far and poses a risk to freedom of expression. Oh Lord, wouldn't I love if we had a fund and go and challenge it in the courts. Maybe we should appeal to President Higgins to call the Council of State and get the Supreme Court to rule on it. or something like that. It is terrible that they can get away with this. We have no freedom. Why is there not some rich people prepared to come along and help in this case? I have several barristers, good ones that I trust. There have to be ones you trust, but I know a couple I can trust. David Raleigh is the article anyway, and that's it. Thanks you. I hope you don't mind me using breakingnews.ie or Gript, two good bodies. Willie, at the end of the day, you voted for the hate speech law, whether you like it or not. You should have said, I couldn't do anything else, my hands was tied. We know that they're desperate to keep the government going for another while. And actually, now, and you're probably going to jump down my throat, I think the best thing would be a lame duck government under Simon Harris. We'd be better if we got this referendum and the European thing over. I think there'll be a severe kickback to the government. I think we will do well with our people there. And then after that, when the summer goes on a bit, and maybe into August or September, go for your general election, maybe October. That'd suit everyone better. Now, I know people have jumped down my throat. No, we want them now. And that whinging of Sinn Féin, oh, they're afraid to hold an election. It's not so much that. It's just that one is enough. I mean, you could have a general election now, and it could be over before the European elections take place and the local authority elections. So, I mean, we have to be reasonable. One of the things about me, maybe some of you don't agree, I am reasonable, and there has to be a degree of common sense, but it's vital that they get no legislation through, particularly the hate speech bill, because we can't be that sure that we'll get it repealed. I mean, the first thing will have to be done if the Dáil sits again is get it repealed, but that mightn't be that easy to do. In any event, that's Willie for you, the bird Willie O'Dea, and okay. That's the story. At least he's better late than never, I suppose. Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. I'll see you back for something else. Good luck, Willie. See you back, folks. Bye. Bye.